name is Susan Brandon, and this presentation will share a data overview of school progress at Sharon Elementary. The purpose of this overview is to share information about our school demographics, school performance, progress over time, and comparisons to our district and state. This information will be used to help guide our school improvement plan, professional development opportunities, and will guide our focus regarding instructional planning and assessment. Sharon Elementary is a suburban elementary school that educates kindergarten through 5th grade students. Sharon is located in Forsyth County, Georgia, which is roughly 30 minutes northeast of Atlanta location-wise. Our school mascot is the Sharon Knight, and many of the spaces in our school have a medieval theme. We have an involved parent community that is very supportive of mentoring students, volunteering, and working collaboratively with our school to create an effective learning environment. Some of our recent highlights include working together to create a fully functioning science lab, creating The Castle, a collaborative and social technology learning environment, which is a 21st century media center equipped with state-of-the-art technology, and building an outdoor learning environment with a working farm and livestock, which we call the DIGS. This stands for Discover, Inspire, Grow, and Succeed. Demographic information. In looking at our demographic information over the years, our population has remained fairly consistent with the mostly white population between 83 and 89%, with a slight increase in Asian students from 6 to 9%, and a slight decrease of Hispanic students from 5 to 4%. Our gender ratio is around 53% male students to 47% female. Our school has shown a steady decline in population over the past 5 years, though we have a low rate of transient students. Due to continued growth in the south part of our district, a redistricting initiative was put into place that will increase our population from 900 during the past school year to 1,000 plus for the upcoming school year. At Sharon, we have very few ESL students, with between 2 to 8 total students during our past 5 years. Because we have less than 10 ESL students, this is not typically measured as a subgroup for us. Our number of economically disadvantaged students increased slightly from 2% in 2009 to 4% in 2010, even though our enrollment dropped roughly 100 students. This number has decreased slightly since 2010 from 4% to 2% over the past 4 years. The number of students who are served by our Gifted or Horizons program showed a slight increase from 22% in 2010 to 27% in 2011. Since 2011, it has shown roughly a 2% decrease per year to roughly 24% of our students being serviced through the Gifted program. In looking at the percentage of special education students in our school, which accounts for 18% of our student population, most of our students, or 14% of them, are serviced through our speech and language department. While this information shows a decline in special education enrollment, this number will increase next year with our redistricting enrollment expansion and the addition of a full-time autism class. Now let's look at assessment information. The information in the next several slides focuses on progress shown in Sharon's 3rd through 5th grade classes, historically speaking, and with our most recent state assessment results. Historically speaking, our 3rd grade students have consistently shown proficiency on the CRCT with between 97 and 100% mastery. The line graph here shows information on the number of students who have shown proficiency on the CRCT test over the past 6 years. Reading and ELA have shown consistent proficiency, and math grew from 2010 to 2011, dipped 2% in 2013, then moved back up to 100% mastery in 2014. Science has been roughly 2 to 3% below 100%, then bounced back in 2014. Social studies showed a slight dip in 2013, then met 100% proficiency in 2014 as well. And looking at this data, our 3rd grade group is consistently strong. Now to look more closely at this data. Here is data that compares our third grade students with others in the district and state on the 2014 CRCT. And looking at this data, Sharon's third graders consistently perform from 2 to 8% higher than the district and 8 to 23% higher than the state average. Here is additional data for our third graders broken down into achievement levels. This is where we can gain better insight into areas we can look into for improving student learning. And looking more closely at the content area comparisons, we can see that reading with 88.7% and math with 89.9% have the highest percentage of students exceeding standards. The percentage of students who exceeded standards in ELA was almost 66.9%, which is 21% lower than other subjects. In science, the students who exceeded standards was 78%, which is 10% lower than the other content areas. Item analysis and student level information can help better explain this data. Based on the data shown, these two areas are ones to look into further. Historically speaking, our fourth grade students have consistently shown proficiency on the CRCT with between 97 and 100% mastery. The line graph here shows information on the number of students who have shown proficiency on the CRCT test over the past 6 years. Reading and ELA have shown consistent proficiency, and math increased from 2009 to 2010, stayed at 100%, then dipped 1% in 2014. Science increased to 100% mastery in 2010, then has shown a slight decline since 2011. Social studies has shown slight increases and decreases by 1 to 2% over the last 6 years. The latest results show a 2% drop from last year's results. Overall, in looking at this data, our fourth grade group is still consistently strong. In looking at how Sharon's fourth grade students performed on the 2014 CRCT in comparison to the district and state, Sharon's fourth grade students performed between 1 to 6% higher than the district and 6 to 19% higher than the state overall. Here is additional data for our fourth graders broken down into achievement levels. And looking more closely at the content area breakdowns, we can see that reading and math had the highest percentage of students exceeding standards, with science and social studies close behind. The percentage of students who exceeded standards in ELA was 77%, which was roughly 10% lower than the other content areas. In science and social studies, 2 to 3% of the students did not meet expectations in these subject areas. Item analysis and student level information, of course, will help better explain this data. Based on the preliminary data shown, ELA, science, and social studies are a few areas to look into further. Our fifth grade students have also consistently shown proficiency on the CRCT with between 95 and 100% mastery. The line graph here shows information on the number of students who have shown proficiency on the CRCT test over the past 6 years. Reading dipped slightly in 2010, then has maintained 100% proficiency. ELA dipped slightly in 2010 and 2013, but has also maintained proficiency. Math decreased by 3% in 2010, but overall has been between 99 and 100% mastery. Science and social studies have increased and decreased slightly every year, and additional information will assist in determining why this may be happening. Overall, in looking at this data though, our fifth grade group is still consistently pretty strong. Here we are looking at Sharon's fifth grade CRCT data as compared to district and state data. Sharon fifth graders performed approximately 1 to 6% higher than the district average and 5 to 19% higher than the state overall. In looking more closely at performance data, we can see that math was 84% and science with 81.6% showed the highest number of students exceeding standards. We can also see there were a few students who did not meet expectations, with math showing 1%, science 1.5%, and social studies 2%. In addition, ELA showed 70.6% exceeding, and social studies showed 74% exceeding standards, which is slightly lower than the other areas measured. These are two areas to look into further, and additional information gained from looking at progress over time, item analysis, and student performance will be beneficial. One last area to look at with our 5th grade students is the writing data shown over time. And looking at this data, it appears the number of students who are proficient has been slightly up and down each year by between 1 and 8%. While overall the scores show between 91 and 98% of the 5th grade students are proficient in writing over time, it would be interesting to see additional information such as exemplars, released prompts, and individual student results to further look into the changes in proficiency levels from year to year. Now let's look at some additional assessment information. The information in the next several slides focuses on progress as measured by the Investing in Innovation, or IE² initiative, CCRPI results, and recent GAPS analysis results. Forsyth County is one of 3 districts in the state of Georgia who participate in the Investing in Innovation, or IE² initiative. The IE² initiative is a type of contract with the state intended to give greater governance and flexibility as a means to increasing student achievement. As a result, districts must report yearly performance in meeting the needs of each student in the school to the governor's office and the State Board of Education. The information here shows Sharon Elementary met the 2014 IE² goals and showed growth in all subgroup areas, in reading ELA, mathematics, and writing. The CCRPI Index is a comprehensive school improvement and accountability system enacted to ensure our elementary students are being prepared for future college and careers. In 2012, Sharon scored a 92.8, and in 2013, 94.2, thus meeting our goal. One area not shown in detail on this report is that of student growth percentiles, which is measuring student growth within the context of a similar group of students and as compared to their growth in other content areas. This is an area we are continuing to look more into as a school as we look to positively impact student learning. Our last data measurement is the Georgia Assessment of Performance on School Standards, or the GAPS analysis. Here is data shown from Sharon's 2012 and 2014 GAPS analysis observations. Areas in green are shown with 90% or above achievement, yellow areas show 60 to 89% achievement, and the red areas show 59% or below. In looking at the instruction strand, Sharon is strong in aligning lessons to standards, and a few areas to work on are the elements of using research-based learning strategies and processes, connecting learning to the real world, and flexible grouping strategies. The GAPS results here show Sharon is strong in planning, organizing, and maximizing instruction in a safe and orderly environment, as well as having a positive school culture. Some areas to look into include assessment and feedback, for example using formative assessments during instruction and providing written feedback that is aligned to standards. Overall, though, we showed quite a bit of growth from our initial GAPS analysis to our most current one. In looking at this data overview, here are a few key areas to look further into as we plan for instruction in the upcoming school year. Sharon should consider continued integration of reading, language arts, and writing with social studies and science, utilizing differentiated learning to help meet the needs of all students, which will actually help support and extend students at all levels. Integrate technology in the content areas, especially incorporating real-world activities, which will help us better meet our students' needs. Continue aligning instruction and assessment to standards and research-based practices. Using the data in this presentation, hopefully grade-level teams can better understand their students' progress so they can better identify strategies and resources to help positively impact student learning at Sharon Elementary.